So if you're a business owner looking to scale with webinars, this video is going to break down the entire process that I use to generate multiple six figures, generating numbers like these: 129K, 30K in 2 weeks, 30K off just one webinar. And recently we were able to take offer from $0 to $48,000 in 30 days with this exact webinar funnel that I'm about to break down. If you don't know me, my name is Brian, and over the past few years, I've been helping creators launch and scale their programs with webinar funnels, building everything in the back end for them from A to Z, from the offer down to actually running the webinar. So let's get into the video. So starting with the funnel itself, there are different aspects of the funnel, and we're gonna go over each one. I have a whole presentation for you guys, so we're about to get into the nitty gritty, right? So when it comes to the first page of your funnel, you wanna make sure that your registration page has these elements all in place. Otherwise, it's not gonna do as good. So you wanna have the headline, the main promise that you're gonna be teaching on the webinar, and also the sub-headline, which is gonna be the main objection that people have when it comes to your business model. So with this headline and sub-headline, you're basically gonna tell people what they're gonna be getting from your webinar without the main objection that they're already thinking of when it comes to the business model. So that way their guard is already being broken from the first step. And then you want to have the opt-in button, usual, and then you want to also have what they're going to be learning on this masterclass, giving them a bit of what they can be expecting and if this masterclass is for them or not. And then you also want to have about the host, because you want to get them used to seeing you and learning about your story off rip. And then you want to have testimonials. Testimony is going to be one of the most important parts, because without this, no one's going to believe that you can actually get the results that you're claiming in the headline. So just showing proof that this can work for other people as well. So you want to have the headline, subheader that answers the main objection that people have when it comes to your business model. You want to have the opt-in button, what they're going to be learning on the masterclass, a little bit about the host and testimonials, and that's your registration page right there, plain and simple. Now, after that, what I like to do is I ran into webinars where we run the webinar and we get like this anxious feeling because we don't know who's on the webinar exactly. And when it comes time to pitch, it's like crickets. We don't know who's going to pay, who's not going to pay. So to eliminate that anxiety, we want to make sure, what I like to do now is make sure I know who exactly is on the webinar. And what I'm able to do with this is lead scoring. So basically when people come and register, they get hit with this next page that basically says, hey, get this free bonus unlocked, answer these quick survey questions. And what this survey question is going to be able to do is basically ask them where they're at in the journey, what they're struggling with, how long they've been trying to figure this out, and how much do they have available to invest into the solution, aka which is going to be your pitch at the end. And just by having this in place, we're able to see exactly who's on the webinar, and then what we're able to do here is basically score them based off the answers that they have, and then put them into A, B, C, and D leads. Now, A leads are your most hottest, your most qualified leads. They're ready to pay, they're ready to start as soon as yesterday type of thing. Then you have the B leads, which is almost as good as A leads, and then you have the C leads, which is like mediocre, may need a payment plan. But having this in place allows us to target A and B leads, make sure we're in constant communication with them, like, hey, see you sign up for the masterclass. Make sure, like, giving them that good feel, making sure that they actually show up to the masterclass, because these people are going to be the people that pay. And then you have the C leads. These people, what I found is, like, a lot of people will rely on the application and get put into the C leads. So don't sleep on the C leads as well. I feel like they just don't want to give out their full information, and they're a little bit skeptical. They want to see how the masterclass goes, but don't sleep on the C leads. These are actually A leads in disguise. So what I like to do is just make sure before the webinar goes live, we're hitting these people up, having a bunch of conversations with them, making sure they're seen, and making sure that they show up so we can get the most money possible. And then even after the webinar is ran, hitting up those C leads, making sure we're like scooping leads all across the board, and we're not leaving on anything, leaving no money on the table. So right after that, now after the lead scoring, you want to have the VIP upsell page. And what this page is basically able to do is allow us to make money before the webinar even goes live. And at the same time, it also allows us to see like who's really, really serious about solving their issue. Because if you're purchasing the VIP ticket, 9 times out of 10, you're going to purchase the actual program at the end, because you're purchasing this here, like this is going to be a pressing issue, and you're willing to spend money already with you. So if I spend money with you already, I'm most likely going to spend money with you again if the product makes sense. So this VIP upsell, what it's able to do is like, hey, claim your free ticket, get the VIP experience. So they're gonna have the header and then a quick video that explains why they should upgrade. And basically what I like to do in these videos is tell people like, hey, the masterclass is gonna give all the solutions that you're looking for, right? It's gonna help you solve your main issue, but if you want to put all this information together and actually implement it faster than anyone else that's going to be on the webinar, you want to claim your VIP ticket into this VIP experience. And one of the things that you should be aiming to do with this VIP upsell is get them that quick win, because if you get them a quick win before the webinar even goes live, they're going to be more susceptible to actually purchasing your product at the end. So now, after they purchase, you're going to hit them with a VIP. If they purchase, they're going to get hit with a VIP confirmation page. But if they don't purchase and they say, no, thanks, I'm good, they get hit with the regular confirmation page. And the only thing that makes these two things different is the video on these pages, right? So with the VIP upgrade, basically saying, hey, congrats for securing your VIP spot. And then they're going to be met with a video that basically tells them the next steps, which is going to be, make sure you check out your inbox because we sent you some emails and SMS messages. So make sure you move that from spam. Make sure you get it ready for this webinar and what you're going to be expecting on this masterclass, as well as the VIP training. So both of these pages are the same. The only thing that's different is just you're talking about the VIP experience here, and in here you're just talking about, hey, get ready for the next steps, congratulating you on securing your spot. Here's what to expect. Here's what's coming. Make sure you save the date for the webinar because I'm about to give you guys a bunch of gems, right? So the rest of the confirmation page is really the same. They're going to be able to join a private group chat, and the private group chat is where we're able to talk to them leading up to the masterclass, and it also serves as an extra medium for sending out reminders, just increasing that show up rate. And then they're going to watch a video on the model, a quick video. What I'm going to be able to do here is tell them about how the model works. They get used to seeing how your teaching style goes, and also are able to get quick value before the webinar even goes live. So the point is they binge watch even more of you, get more, consume more content from you. So they get used to you, they see the value, and they're already like, okay, this person knows exactly what they're talking about, because if they broke it down like this for free, I can't even imagine what I'm going to be getting on the webinar. Right under that, we're getting commonly asked questions. Now, when people register for webinars, the first step is they're naturally going to go to the internet and look up a bunch of questions that they have leading up to the masterclass. So what we're able to do here is basically stop them from going from leaving the browser and going off to the internet, searching a bunch of things, and then getting themselves like talked out of actually showing up for the webinar. Instead, we're going to answer their questions straight on here. And by doing that, they're going to be like, whoa, this person knows exactly what I'm thinking, because they answer all of my questions. So they probably most likely know what I'm going through and know the steps that I need to take in order to get the results that I'm looking for. So we answer all their questions here, so they have to go anywhere else. And on the same page, they're going to look at even more testimonials of your program working for you, as well as other people. Now, when a person goes through all of this on this page, this is actually like one of the most important pages, because they've taken this next step. They're actually really interested. Now you have their full attention. If they're able to binge watch all this content, they're going to be, imagine a person is like from zero, they're at zero, level zero, and they're not interested at all. If they consume all of this content, go through all of the page, that level of interest actually rises. And the whole point of running this webinar, running the funnel like this, is to get them at peak interest. So by the time they do hop onto the webinar, it's like you just need to say a couple words and they're already there. They're already pulling out their wallet to spend for your program. So the point is to get them binge watch as much content on this page and consume as much content on this page as possible. So by the time they do show up for the webinar, they're already warm and hot and ready leads. Now, when it comes to getting people onto the webinar consistently, what I like to do is fuel all of this with paid ads, right? So we run 3 types of campaigns when it comes to paid ads. We have the lookalike, the cold audience, and warm audiences. So with the cold audiences, you're targeting completely new people. That way you're able to constantly run webinars, constantly get in front of a group of people that have no idea who you are, and we're just able to replicate the system over and over again. Now, what we're also able to run is lookalike audiences. So what we do is take a list of your past customers, people that engage with you in the past, and tell Facebook, hey, find me people that look just like this and put my ad in front of them. And then we're also running warm audiences, people that bought from you in the past or engaged with you before. So we're hitting all 3. And what I like to do is basically run lookalike and cold audiences on repeat, and then run warm audiences 1 to 2 times a month. So that way the warm audiences don't get tapped out and they don't get used to like, hey, this person keeps running webinars. I know exactly what's going to be on there, because you don't want to constantly get the same people onto the webinar. You constantly want to put yourself in front of fresh traffic, and that's what cold audiences and lookalike audiences is allowing us to do. Now, a key bonus that you can actually run is, as you've seen, but like before, we're running lead scoring, right? And what we're able to do is like separate all of these leads and get all their contact information, right? So we know who exactly is the A lead and B lead. What you can do is take those A and B leads and put them into lookalike audiences. Like, hey, these are A and B leads. These are quality leads. So what I want you to do, Facebook, is take those A and B leads and find me more A and B leads. So as you continue running more webinars, as you continue getting more A and B leads, you can constantly feed that back into Facebook, and it'll constantly target those people that are quality leads. So you're constantly getting, with each and every webinar, you're constantly getting better quality leads coming onto the webinar. Now, once you have that in place, now you have to have the automation, the nurture sequence leading up to the webinar. So what we do is an email confirmation, text confirmations, and also hammer them emails. So with email confirmations, we send out instant confirmation. We send out the 24-hour reminder, 1-hour reminder, 15-minute reminder, and live reminder. Nothing too crazy with the emails. For text messages, we send out the confirmation, instant confirmation, 24-hour reminder, morning of, about 5 to 8 hours before the actual webinar goes live, a 15-minute reminder, live reminder, and a 15-minute post live reminder. Now, this is actually I would say the most important things out of this whole sequence is the confirmation, warning of, 15 minutes live, and of course 15 minutes post live, and of course the live. What we found here is like when we do that 15-minute post live, we recoup a lot of people on the webinar, because I don't know what it is, but a lot of people think like once they miss the exact time to join the webinar, it's like there's no point in joining. So we're able to recoup a lot of people with this 15 minutes post live. And here's what some of the text messages look like. So like, hey, 24-hour, here's the day of, here's 30 minutes out before we go live. And the point of this one is to ask quick questions just to make them engage with the actual person, and like, hey, this is actual conversation, the real person. We're just heat checking them real quick. And then we also do the 15 minutes. This is what the 15 minutes post live looks like. Now, another thing that we also do when a person signs up, they get hit with this instant confirmation text. So it's like, hey, see you registered for my masterclass, reply yes to confirm your spot, just getting more engagement out of them. And once they do reply, we then hit them with a, hey, your spot's locked in. We send them back to this thank you page so they could consume more content. And if they didn't purchase already, we also give them the chance to get that VIP upsell. So that way we're like not missing out on any type of money on the table. We're like, hey, go back, check out this thank you page so you can binge watch more content. And if you haven't upgraded already, you still have the chance to upgrade. So make sure you can upgrade here. Excited to see you on Monday. So that way we're able to like really put people through the full exact system, so we're not leaving out anyone on the table, because sometimes people will register, they'll go through the process quickly, and then they don't get the chance to purchase the VIP. So we're able to just like, hey, if you didn't purchase already, make sure you check it out here. And then after, let's say a person gets this text and they don't respond, we text them 10 minutes after, like, hey, did you miss this? They reply yes, then we send them this message as well. Now we have both of those things in place. We have the email and text message automations. Now, once a person registers as well, they get put into a sequence where they're getting hammered them emails. And the point of these emails, they get an email about every 8 hours. And the point is just give them as much content as possible, like almost like the confirmation page where we're answering the questions, but in this sense, we're having a longer form of communication with them, answering those objections, basically talking about why the model works. This model will work for your current position, breaking core limiting beliefs and breaking down the numbers so they can see like, hey, this person actually understands all of the things that are going on in my head when it comes to this business model. They must know what they're talking about. And then also another thing that we were able to do to increase our show up rate, right? So with this regular show up rate, we're doing about 27% show up rate on traffic to get people onto the webinar. But one of the things that took us and really changed the game for us was hammer them ads in the back end, right? So we went from a 20% show up rate to a 39% show up rate just by adding hammer them ads in the process. So when a person registers, they get put into the sequence, cool, all that good stuff. They come from the ad, they register, and now they're in the system. Now what we do is tell Facebook like, hey, this person registered for this masterclass. I want you to separate them, put them into a different audience, and then show them one ad from this ad set every day leading up to the masterclass. And there's gonna be a list of like 30 to 40 ads. And the point of this is just constantly staying in front of them, right? So Facebook is like, hey, here's another, since you signed up for this webinar, here's one ad from the same offer owner. And the goal isn't for them to see the same ad over and over again. What we do is tell Facebook like, hey, if they watch ad number 1 and they watch at least like 5 seconds of it, make sure you don't show them the same ad. Make sure they get cycled to the next ad. The same thing happens with this. They watch this ad, now they get cycled to the next ad, now they get cycled to the next ad. So they're not seeing the same ad over and over again. They're just seeing a bunch of different ads from the creators. So like the creators staying on top of their mind at all times leading up to the masterclass. You come onto a social media and it makes it almost impossible for you not to be reminded like, hey, this masterclass is coming up. I just seen this creator like 10 times already, and now they're getting used to seeing you, and now they feel obligated to actually show up. And what we like to do as well is upon registration, we like to have the setter come in and just talk to the leads as much as possible. If you don't have a setter, what we used to do is just text people off rip like, hey, see you sign up for the masterclass, what are you looking to get out of? They tell you a little bit of what they're looking for. That's exactly what we're going to be covering in this masterclass. Make sure you show up live, and then leaving the room open for any type of question they may have. Make sure you just hit me back here if you have any questions leading up to the masterclass. If you don't have a setter, you could do this with the text messages. But if you do have a setter, once they register, the setter has a quick conversation with them, understanding where they're at, making sure that they got everything they need, just increasing the user sentiment and making sure that these people actually show up live. Now, once a person does register, we also put them into a separate Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever your audience is really comfortable with. And in this WhatsApp, we're able to add extra free bonuses, and we also have that chance to answer any more questions that they may have leading up to the masterclass, and just get a feel for them and get them like in a community sense, so like everyone's super excited about what's about to happen for this masterclass. And it also acts as an extra opportunity to send out reminders. A bonus, what we like to do now is add a quick welcome video inside the chat from the host itself, so that way they feel like this person really has all the touch points covered. They really took their time to really care about me as a person coming onto the webinar. So now I feel 10 times more comfortable about showing up and even purchasing the program because of all the extra steps that they're taking as far as getting me comfortable and just thinking about me from like a user sense. Now, when it comes to running the actual webinar itself, the best days to run that we found out is Sunday and Tuesdays, because these days they aren't too close to the weekend, and it gives people a room for book calls to actually take place, right? Because Sunday, you're not really doing anything. Sunday between like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you're probably getting out of church, you probably ate dinner already. You're just getting relaxed and you don't have anything planned for the rest of the day. You're probably gonna be a couch potato. Perfect time for us to run a webinar. Tuesday is also about the same vibes. Tuesday, you have enough time to book calls leading up to the weekend. It's not too close to the weekend because Friday, Saturday, Sunday calls, booking calls on those days have like the worst show up rates, and people are not trying to hop on calls Saturday and Sunday. They got other things they're doing. They're running errands. So we're not too close to the weekend. Sunday, we're just starting off the week. Tuesday, we're still in the middle of the week. Now, when it comes to actually running a good webinar, you need to have these key components in place before you even consider thinking about a webinar. Otherwise, you're gonna waste a lot of money, you're gonna waste time, and you're just gonna be in a room full of people that are not gonna be buying from you, and you're gonna say webinars suck. So before you even run a webinar, you wanna make sure that these key components are in place before anything else. So you wanna have a strong validated offer. And if an offer isn't selling off of a webinar, like without a webinar, you're trying to sell the offer maybe through a call funnel, maybe through the DMs. If it's not selling there, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be selling on a webinar. All the webinar is doing is taking an offer, putting it in front of a bunch of people at once, and then selling it that way. So if it's not a strong validated offer already, you want to tweak it, make sure it's validated already, people actually want it, and then put it in front of a room full of people so that way you're not wasting your time. Next thing is you want to have that good follow-up nurture sequence, because if people don't show up to your webinar, you're not going to have anyone to pitch to. So you want to make sure you have those sequences, the follow-up sequence and the nurture sequence dialed in to get the most out of, maximize the show up rates and get the most out of the webinar. And then you also want to have proof that it works for you and other people. A lot of the things that run a webinar is basically just proof of people in different situations, because these people that are going to be on your webinar, they're already thinking like, okay, this worked for the offer owner, of course, by luck or whatever, but can you show me someone in my situation that it worked for, so then I can start believing that this can potentially work for me too. So you want to have as much proof as possible that it works for you. Different types of proof as well. People working with 9 to 5s, people who were down to their last. Just a bunch of different proofs to get people to actually believe that this can work for them. And then the last thing you want to have for a good webinar is just quality leads. You want to make sure your marketing and your messaging is dialed in. You're not attracting people that don't have money. You're attracting the right type of people who once they go through a webinar, they see all the value that you're giving, they see the offer, they're like, yeah, this is a no-brainer, I need this. So you want to have those 4 key components for a good webinar. Now, when it comes to the webinar outline, here's a quick outline, and we're going to get into really how to run the whole thing, but here's a quick outline, right? So in the first 15 minutes, you want to explain who you are. You want to give people a reason to believe you. You want to drop as much credibility as possible, so people should understand why they should even listen to you. You're showing them your proof. You're also going to be setting the ground rules, like, hey, this is what's going to happen on the webinar. Make sure you do this. Mute your cameras, mute your mics, show up on camera, all that good stuff. Just setting the ground rules, setting the expectations of what they're going to be learning, what they're going to be getting out of you in the next hour, 30 minutes or so. And then what they're going to also be learning on the webinar. Just giving them a quick outline of what they can be expecting in the masterclass. And then the next 30 minutes, we're going to be telling them, and then in the next 30 minutes, you're going to be telling your story, how you had the same exact problems that your audience was going through, how you're able to fix it. You're going to be pointing out what they're struggling with and why it's too hard to fix it themselves, because they've been going through this issue. You already know the problems that they're facing, and they were going through this issue by themselves for a while. So if they could have fixed it, they wouldn't be on your webinar. So your whole point is to really like twist the knife, twist the pain, and make sure like, hey, you've been trying to fix this for yourself. Here's why it's hard for you to fix it by yourself, and let me show you the way. And then you want to make them feel heard and seen. Give 3 to 5 tips that they can actually use and walk away with from your webinar, and then show proof again that your method, your information works for other people and not just yourself. So on the 3 pillars of the webinar, you want to have the vehicle, the internal belief, the external belief. And then when it comes to the pitch and the Q&A, it takes about 45 minutes, right? So then after that, you want to have room for the pitch and the Q&A. So what I like to do when it comes to the pitch, you want to make sure that you transition into the pitch and people know that you're transitioning into the pitch. You don't want to just seamlessly move from webinar to be like, hey, this is my $5,000 product, buy it now. You want to actually get their permission to pitch them. So once you get their permission to pitch them, like, hey, I'm going to go over something real quick in the next 5 minutes that can potentially help you guys out and accelerate the possibility of you getting success with this business model. Is it okay for me to show it to you guys? They say yes. Now you move on to the pitch. Now you've mentally prepared yourself to get into pitching mode. So when it comes to the pitch, you want to have the main offer, 1 to 2 main things of the service. You want to sell that as the main offer, and then everything else, a part of your offer, is just going to be extra bonuses. And then you're going to present why they need each specific part of your offer and how it directly helps them get the solution that they're looking for, followed by testimonials of people that went through your program and that have benefited from each and every part of your specific offer, right? So for example, let's say you're selling an Amazon FBA offer and your main thing is the mentorship. You're selling that mentorship, you're selling the coaching as the main 2 offers. Now a great bonus for that offer is like, I give you the list of products that are best selling as of right now. That as a bonus is going to be like, whoa, he's giving me the main offer. Now he's giving me the products to sell on Amazon, speeding up my possibility of getting results. And then right after that, I'm showing you like, hey, this is Jack. He was able to come in. He got the coaching. He got the mentorship. He was able to get the list of Amazon products that was already selling. And now he's making $10,000, $20,000 a month. So you're following that exact setup for each part of your offer and each part of the bonuses. Then right after that, you have the combined products. So like all of this that I'm giving you is really worth $10,000. But because you're on this webinar, I'm going to give it to you guys exclusively for people that are on this webinar for $5,000. People see that price drop and like, from 10,000 to 5,000 must be a good deal. Then you push everybody to book a call with you. And then right after that, you're answering the commonly asked questions. And then you open the floor up for the Q&A. So here's what a little bit of the flow would look like. The goal is to give them the how and not the what. So you're breaking down 3 circuits. You have the intro. You're going to explain who you are, what you're able to accomplish, the story on how you're able to get here to this exact position, and how you've been able to help other people. Now, right after the intro, you're getting into the vehicle itself. You're basically telling people this is the best thing since sliced bread was invented. So with this vehicle, the main thing is that allows your audience to get results. The main thing that you're going to be talking about and how people can get results from the thing that you're going to be teaching and your business model. Then right after you talk to them about the vehicle, how it's the best thing and how it's going to be the best vehicle to get them to where they're looking for. Now you're going to go into the internal belief, right? So a lot of people think when they hear the vehicle, they're like, yeah, that's cool with you, but I have a bunch of things inside my head that will stop me from getting those results that you're saying that I can get. So what we're going to do is attack the vehicle, right? Attack the internal belief. Like, hey, regardless of if you think you can't do this, I know a person that was in your same position and they didn't think they could do it too. And here's how you can do it regardless of that, right? And then you want to go to the external belief. The external belief is basically attacking how outside factors can affect the person from getting results, whether it be time, energy, money, if they're working a job, if they don't have a big audience, whatever the case may be. We're just attacking the internal belief and the external belief to the point where after they've gone through, the whole point is for them to see the vehicle, they know the vehicle works, then you target their internal belief. You basically get them to say like, hey, regardless if you think you suck at this, it doesn't even require any type of skill. Like this can be done as a copy and paste formula. Like regardless of what you're thinking in your head, it can actually be done. And then now you're probably thinking like, hey, I believe that I could do it now. I believe the vehicle works, but I don't have enough time. Well, this could work without time. I don't have a big audience. Well, this could work regardless if you have a big audience. I don't have money. You don't need a lot of money to get started. So by the end of this presentation, they know who you are and they fully are believing into this vehicle that it actually worked for them. And now we got them ready for the offer where we're actually bringing all of this together. So you go into the offer stack where you pitch the actual solutions and then you open the floor for Q&A, answer any remaining objections in time, and then tie them back to joining your offer. Now, once you've ran the actual webinar, you want to have the post-webinar sequence, and this is just scooping up the people that didn't, for whatever reason, purchase on the webinar and have some last-minute thoughts, or they didn't even show up regardless. We're going to push them through a post-webinar sequence, and what we're able to do is basically like, hey, we build a webinar replay page, and the webinar replay page is almost going to be similar to the initial registration page, On the webinar replay page, we're going to have the header and the premise of the webinar, what was going to be, what was learned on the webinar. We're going to have the webinar video itself, and then the next step, which is going to be the application below, or depending on the price of your product, they get either just purchase right there. So you want to have separate sequences for people who didn't join the webinar, and then a separate sequence for people who did join the webinar but didn't end up purchasing. And then also what we like to do is have like a manual webinar nurture sequence. So for the people that joined and didn't purchase, what we like to do is text them like, hey, it's the offer owner, you came to the webinar. What are you currently working on? What's been the biggest thing stopping you from actually getting consistent money from it? Love that you're being honest. Love that you're being real with me. Do you have time this week to hop on a call with my team and help you figure this out? They say, perfect. They say, yeah, I'm ready to hop on a call. At this point, they've already seen the webinar. They already know why you're hitting them up. They probably just need that extra touch point to take the next step. So we make it easy for them to take that next step. We're like, perfect. We have a couple spots left for the week. Make sure you grab it here. And then once that appointment is booked, what we like to then do is be like, hey, see, you have a call with the team on Friday. We also have the setter reach out to them. So this sequence is basically what the setter does leading up to the call after it's booked. So if you don't have a setter, you can go in with this method. It's like, hey, see, you booked the call. Did you get a chance to watch the webinar? No worries. If they say no, no worries. Here's a replay. Make sure you watch it before the call goes live, so we can get into everything real fast. And then if they say yes, perfect, you already know what we're bringing to the table. We're just making sure that, hey, you watched the webinar. Hey, you've seen the price. You've seen all of the testimonials that we've been able to accomplish from the webinar. So the point of you hopping on this call, you already seen everything. So the point of you hopping on this call is just really making that decision to get started. So that is the full sequence on how we're able to generate multiple six figures with this exact webinar funnel, from the funnel pages down to getting traffic into the webinar, the nurture sequence leading up to the webinar, running the actual webinar itself, and then what happens right after the webinar is ran. So that's the exact system that I build out for my clients, and has generated us multiple six figures, and you're able to implement this system into your own business as well. Now, if you're looking for someone to do all of this work for you, that's exactly where I come in. We build out the webinar funnels, from the funnel pages down to the lead scoring, down to the ads itself, scripting the ads out for you to record them, and then running the ads so we can get people onto the webinar so you can constantly sell over and over again. And then from there, what we also able to do is build out a webinar presentation for you and practices, so you know exactly how to pitch and you don't feel anxious about the whole process of running an actual webinar presentation. So we help you from A to Z, from setup down to delivery, getting people into your webinar and selling your program. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, click the link below and apply and see how we can implement this thing. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see how the whole thing comes together, I'm actually going to link one of my clients, how we're able to take the offer from $0 to $48,000 in 30 days with a webinar funnel, so you can see the ins and outs, how this actually works and how it can work for your business as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and leave a comment below on what more videos that you want to see coming from me next. As always, talk to you guys soon.